Surgical gastroenterologist is a travesty. I'll just very briefly tell you that besides being the chairman of GI surgery, GI oncology, bariatric surgery, and HPP surgery, he's a wonderful surgeon, very humorous, and now has shown of late a lot of interest on nutrition, some of which he is going to expound his knowledge today. And he is going to be one of our two people who are going to really chat with Sanjeev Kapoor. Nagi needs no introduction across any field. He's been recognized. I personally consider him as the single most important man who put India on the endoscopic map of the world. He, besides being recognized both by Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan by the government, has also received the Schindler Award by the American Society. Schindler in endoscopy is equivalent to the Nobel Prize given otherwise. I think any other talk beyond that is superfluous. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Sanjeev Kapoor. I am sure that many of you who don't otherwise also watch TV would have at some time or the other seen his celebrity show Khana Khajana that ran on TV for innumerable years. He is probably, as I said, arguably the best known chef that India has produced. For the last 30 years, he's been in this field. Also recognized by the government of India as the Padma Shri awardee, but more important, Harvard Business School did a topic on him, the title of that being Sanjeev Kapoor, the recipe for success, shows his reach is not limited to our country alone. And he holds a Guinness World Record for the probably serving the largest khichdi, if I am told, 900 plus kgs in a single serving. Unbelievable. Forbes, many of us would give our eye tooth to join that list in India's 100 celebrities, along with the other well-known figures I need not mention. He is one of them. But then his mission, I just asked him, how would you like yourself to be introduced? Because I just met him about half an hour and he said, just introduce me as a person who cooks for a living. I think that explains his philosophy. And we wish him many more years that he carries the Indian flag in cookery all over the world. Wishing you all the best. With these, I hand over to both Adarsh and Nagi to take over the fireside chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Manu. To start the conversation, first of all, I think we're extremely grateful, Sanjeev, for being here this evening. I think all of them are gastroenterologists and gastrointestinal surgeons, unique group of people, the top doctors in gastroenterology in India here. We are very fortunate that we have this conversation. So me and others discussed what we should discuss, because this is a very unusual guest we have for the evening with us. We have had other persons in in sports and so on, but never somebody who is into this area. And then Sanju told us, let's be very spontaneous, no rehearsed questions, nothing to talk about, just a conversation which we are going to have casually. We invite the audience also to participate. If any of you have something to come up with, you can always get up their mics there and sort of join in the conversation. So as we start this conversation, Sanjeev, I sort of wanted to ask you first. In fact, I was again discussing that. How did you become a chef? Because when you're very small in India, parents say, "Oh, doctor, engineer." Now it's going to be IT people and all. So in your early phase, chef was not till you became the famous chef. It is not a very fashionable word. So why did you want to become a chef? How did you become a chef?
First of all, thank you very much and good evening to everyone. आप सभी को संजीव कपूर का प्यार भरा नमस्कार. So, really honored to be here on stage with you and amongst all the learned people. जो पढ़ाई लिखाई कर लेते हैं वो डॉक्टर बन जाते हैं, जो नहीं कर पाते वो शेफ बन जाते हैं. That was the case, but in my case that was that was not the reason. For me, the reason I became a chef was not because I loved cooking as a child, mera passion, it was nothing of that sort. I don't know, when people become big, when they become famous, right from childhood, they knew what they wanted to do. And they would have photographs also supporting that. We didn't even have a camera. So my brother's hobby was cooking. He became a chartered accountant. He's a strategy consultant now. For me, because I was decent in studies, so all my fellow classmates decided when it was time to decide what career kind of thing, because I was a engineering student in some sense, not a biology student. And that also, there's a small story I must say, because I probably would have become a doctor, but I had a bad biology teacher who spoiled the best electron microscope that I had drawn. And he said, label it. He spoiled it. And I started to hate that teacher. So I took engineering drawing. So my fellow friend said, "Tujhe kya problem hai? You will go to IIT." So there were two of us who were like that, who people could predict that would go to IIT. So just to prove them wrong, just to say, I will now do something that nobody else has done. So that's how I got into this line. There was no plan, there was nothing. It was just, I just wanted to stand out in a hope.
Were you formally trained in this?
Yes, I then did go to Hotel Management Institute. There was no Culinary Institute back then.
Yeah.
Went there, I studied this. After that, I did professional 2 years training in cooking also. So I did professional training in that.
Sanjeev, tell me an honest answer. Why you are success? Don't say I'm honest, I'm hardworking, I'm this. What is the secret of your success?
Because I'm smart.
How do you define smart?
Smartness is actually, it is whenever you are looking at things, there is, what is success? Success is that there is a large group and we say success is not for everyone. So when you say success, you're saying that you are very few, right? So if you have to become very few, you have to learn the art of being not part of being a follower. You have to learn to lead. And that once you can learn to do that, once you have the ability or the courage to stand out, then the chances of becoming outstanding become easier. So what does a leader do? Leader says, oh, I'll not follow a path which has been followed. Because if you follow a path that has been followed, you become a follower. Then you start finding something that is, there may not be a road, there may not be a path. And then you go on a journey. And then if you can find a path, you can create a path, you become a leader.
That's so right. That's why they say, Nagi, that very few of us are leaders of men. Most of us are followers of women. That's the problem with most of us.
So women will always lead. Because they are more courageous.
Most courageous.
Yes. Women will always lead.
But then you followed it up by setting up so many institutions. So you made cooking into a sort of an academic thing, not what we think earlier. And then second, also you have so many cookbooks that you've written, because in fact I was telling you earlier that my initial journey after marriage was from your cookbooks that I started. My wife was making all those recipes, and so I think this helped a lot of people, and now you have this merchandise that's coming in.
Sure.
So all these sort of, it's a very organized way of putting out this into the public. Yeah.
So actually it was all goal setting. When I first started, I set a goal for myself that within, at that time, it took 20 years for somebody who was starting to become an executive chef of a large hotel. So I said to myself that I want to achieve this in 10 years. People used to laugh, how would you achieve it? I say, if everyone works 8 hours, I'd work 16 and that's it. It was not. It's basic. I was lucky I could get there. I could become a top chef when I was not even 28. So I had reached my professional peak in our industry much before. So it bothered me that what do I do next? So my father felt that I had not studied enough. मैंने पढ़ाई पूरी नहीं की ऐसा लगता था, because hotel management was no study. So MBA nahi. So I actually then joined masters in marketing management from I used to pass that college in Mumbai, Narsimunji Institute of Management Studies. So I joined masters in marketing management there, because I was worried that what would I do next. Then I was also teaching always. And I met somebody and he said, "Oh, you seem to be a teacher at heart." That's a great positioning to have in life, because it says professionals can age, but teachers are always revered no matter how old they get. So I thought that was a very good positioning to have. And when TV started, because I was good at teaching, I started to teach. And that teacher in me then started to empathize with people. And I was not the only chef who was doing TV. I was one of 32.
In India.
Yes, people who do not know this, there were 32 chefs who came in before one episode, they did it. And people don't even know, people don't even remember that. People don't even know that this happened before me. All of them were making the same mistake. They were showing off. They were showing what they knew. I showed what, because I was studying marketing, I understood that show is not for me. It is for somebody who's watching. So I made something that they could succeed with. So that was very clear that I would not do anything that would make people fail. I would help them succeed. So the show was not about me, it was about them.
That's good.
And that worked.
Nagi, tell me about you. In last couple of years, I've met you. You have developed a great interest in food, what you eat.
Yeah.
You have great interest in what is happening to the bacteria in your gut.
Yeah.
How did this start, and how do you perceive it?
So I think I realized that one of the most important things as a function, as human beings we do, is eating, but it's the most neglected thing. We just, whatever is served to us, we eat. We don't even think what we're eating. There's a huge science behind food. And one of the most important part of this science is the microbiome in our gut. Sanjeev, there are 100 trillion microbiomes in our gut, bacteria, which regulate everything. We are very foolish. We think what we eat is the ultimate thing, but it's actually everything is controlled by the microbiome. Whatever we eat, it doesn't matter. The microbiome ultimately contributes to that. And recently we had a very interesting experiment we did, where we took a group of our doctors, gave them Indianized Mediterranean diet, because Mediterranean diet is difficult to eat for us. So we Indianized it, working with a group in Israel, a nutrition group. And one group had the standard diet, same exercise, everything same. And after 1 month, the group which was taking this Mediterranean diet, the weights came down by 3 kg. They were feeling better. They're more energetic. And when we looked at the microbiome, it's totally changed. This food had changed the microbiome. So I think microbiome is controlling it. And there's one single organism that I've been studying for now for last few days. It's called Akkermansia muciniphila. Remember that name, Akkermansia? It changes everything in the gut. It makes you much stronger, physically better, mentally better. It controls the whole metabolic system. And the only problem with this is they're not able to culture this bacteria till recently. And now they're able to culture it. So I've developed this intense interest of how bacteria are interacting with digestion, and whatever you eat, I think and also I made this very bad mistake for several years with ultra processed food. And I didn't realize that ultra processed food was something which was absolutely bad. I mean, not just the food, not the calories, but the way how it's processed and so on was bad. So that's a big mistake. And now I'm off. I realize that's a bad thing. So these are some of the things that I've changed. And I think, Adarsh, you had a huge interest. I was interested because you talk about proteins. What is the optimal protein? Which is better, the animal or plant? And then can we optimize our protein intake?
My interest in protein started because I have a great desire to live long. What I will do with long life, I have not decided, but I have to live long. And I, like you, I study longevity a lot. And of all studies of longevity, 3 factors have consistently emerged. One is high protein intake, second is weight-bearing exercise, and third is social connectivity. I'm socially very well connected. I exercise very well. So my protein intake was not enough. So I started protein, which means first ranking. The first thing in food chain is proteins. So then I read about it and there are various figures, but I generally believe that high protein intake is necessary because you can never get protein toxicity. Unless you have a kidney failure, you can never get protein toxicity. You can get extra weight because proteins can supply calories. So eating 1.5 gram protein or something is very important. Then I realized some of my patients who were elderly who had cancer, even if you give them protein, they will not get better. Then I realized when you grow older or you're sicker, you have anabolic resistance. Even if you eat protein, it won't be absorbed. So what do we do to absorb that protein? You might give them 2 grams, 4 grams, it won't be absorbed. That's when I realized you have to do exercise, resistance training, which makes you take your protein longer. So that's my journey to protein.
And what about this concept? People say that animal protein is better than plant protein. Is that right, or is there something?
That's a fantastic question. Animal protein has more essential amino acids in there, but plant proteins, if you collect them together, am I right? They have the same amount of amino acids. But we must not forget the ratio is 7:1. You have to burn 7 grams of plant protein to get 1 gram of animal protein, which is for environment, which is very bad. So you destroy a lot of livestock to get 1 gram of protein. So broadly speaking, animal protein and plant protein is nearly the same. Plant protein has additional advantages that you have some chemicals which are anti-cancer, anti-metabolite. So plant proteins are not inferior to animal proteins. And Sanjeev was telling us that he's recently given a talk on proteins coming from fungi. And I have a great interest in insect proteins. There are 20,000 insects which can be used to give you protein. But it looks repulsive, but you can use their powder to give protein.
So Sanjeev, you can cook insects to make it palatable?
You can easily cook them. You can. So there's a festival that I attended many years ago in Canada, and the delicacy was chocolate coated cockroaches. And not kidding, huh? Not kidding. Spiders I've had in Cambodia, to silkworms and things like that. But I'm a vegetarian at heart. Means nothing. Style fresh.
Nagi, since you've been started, I know you have a, can I make your secret public? You have a private chef, if I'm told.
Yeah.
So since you started getting rich and started getting private chef, how has it changed your energy levels, your cognitive skills?
Now I think I control a lot of what I eat now. I can sort of plan based upon how much exercise I'm getting. So the previous day, next day I can actually, depending on that, I can. So now I've gone a lot into a Mediterranean type of diet, a lot of fish and nuts and things like that, which I can then tell this chef to make. And I think one of the important thing is that the oils that we use, the problem is unless it's again very regulated. For example, we never knew that the rice bran was actually better. I don't know. The rice bran is what we are supposed to. It's like olive oil, but you can use it in Indian cooking. So things like that we have changed a little, and that has made me more energetic. I think I exercise better. My muscle mass is increased.
But Nagi, tell me.
And also, I think I control my gut microbiome now. I know that what I have to use, for example, a lot of yogurt and things like that.
I'm going to ask this question. Should most of us and our patients, should they take extra probiotics, or should they natural food has enough probiotics?
Yeah, I think this is a great point. This is
fantastic question.
Yeah, this is a great point. So there's a probiotic culture out there, and the only single bacteria is that Akkermansia, which I told you about, which is. But rest of the time, if you take a probiotic consistently for a long period of time, it actually does more harm. Because what we require in the gut is a biodiversity. There are 1,000 species in the gut. If you take only one probiotic, lactobacillus or bifidobacterium that is common, then you get into one bacteria and other bacteria come down. So that's the reason why probiotics are not good to take long term. It's better to take it in natural form, like in yogurt or kefir or cheese and so on. Then you get all the probiotics.
Sanjeev, you want to comment on this?
I think that's a fantastic question, and I think people here should know, because you would see a lot of packaged food with the probiotic. So one data point everyone should know: if you were to buy yogurt from market which said probiotic yogurt versus yogurt made at home, the probiotic count of homemade yogurt would be much higher than the probiotic yogurt that you're buying from market. So make yogurt at home. Critical, very, very important. There's a live culture that is there. So the probiotic and diversity is something that is understated. We don't focus on that. Rotate your meals. Rotate. Don't have kind of not just one kind of diet is good for soil, not good for us also. So diversity is important. And I recommend this that actually have one root vegetable, not large quantity. Protein is important, but root vegetable, the kind, because, and don't peel it, clean it nicely, scrub it nicely, wash it, and in your diet, and have different carrot, beetroot, yams, potato, sweet potato, one a day. That diversity, and that's with everything. Seasonal vegetables, seasonal, fresh, local. You cannot get better than that. Actually, no matter what, whenever I've seen this, that we talk about this, that, oh, this is group of doctors, which is, they are focused on one part. Actually, body does not work just in parts, right? It is whole. So what is right as whole? I could be sitting here for some other, even for group of orthopedic surgeons, could be cardiologists, could be anything, and all the answers are still the same. They do not change. They do not change. We make this mistake that, oh, this, maybe the answers would be different, but the answers are the same. When it comes to food, it has to be seasonal, local, fresh.
What about organic versus organic food? A lot of emphasis on that. Well, what is your take on that?
See, it's a big word, organic, but yes, food free from insecticide, pesticide, is it good? No brainer.
Yeah.
You don't need three of us to tell anyone here which is better, samosa or salad. Everyone knows. Actually, we all know all the answers. I don't think there's anybody who's sitting here that does not know the answer. Everybody knows it. It's just that we need to reinforce, we need to talk about more. But would anyone say that regular exercise is bad? No. Don't eat ultra processed food. Yes, I know that. No stress. Oh, you don't have to tell me that. Yoga, meditation. Sleep well. Oh, of course, I know it. Good hydration. Very good. We all know it. We all know it, but we need that reinforcement.
Sanjeev, what is the science behind the saying that you should have your evening meal before the sunset? What's the science behind it?
I think this is the area of specialization of. So in terms of, it's about the gap that we have to build. It's not about. See, one is there's a big science on the circadian cycle. That's we can start a big debate on that. And actually, there's a big linkage to longevity, and we should talk more. I have your number, you have mine. We should talk. I'm in touch. David Sinclair. So we'll talk more on that. So on the science of that, I think relevance for today, if I were to say, I think it's a lifestyle change that before you go to sleep, so you're in a supine position, right? You need to have that period where you are not immediately lying down, and if you give that 3 to 4 hours before you actually sleep, and sunset comes in. So there's theory on circadian cycle, that's separate. But in today's context, if I were to simplify it, this is why I would say that makes more sense.
Nagi, I think intermittent fasting, there's a lot of discussions on that. I'm not sure whether how much, for an average person, I don't think it makes a difference, but an overweight person, intermittent fasting makes a difference.
Nagi, so you.
Yeah, no, I think on intermittent fasting, I think, see, these kind of fads, I believe should not be, we live in a country where there's so much of data that is there. It's just that we don't know. We are discovering, right? So food can control the microenvironment. Same is reverse is also true. It's not just one way, right? It is so same food can get converted to become something very good. Can become probiotic in nature. Same can also become poison.
But also, I think, Sanjay, there's a lot of gut-brain access info. In fact, I had a very funny experience. One of my friends, strict, doesn't take alcohol at all, was driving back after a heavy carbohydrate dinner, and then the police were testing him with this thing. And then he was very high alcohol positive in the breath test. He never drank alcohol. Poor fellow was put into jail. We had to go and get him out. Then we went to the literature and found there's something called autobrewery syndrome, that if you have a certain type of bacteria in your gut, if you take a high carbohydrate diet, that bacteria converts this into alcohol. And people who have this autobrewery.
But
so
in
I think
food we always knew. In food we convert without anything, we convert everything into alcohol.
Alcohol, So
fermentation leads to that. And if you need to accelerate that, high carbohydrates, they accelerate it.
So I think an access, they have to say a path to the man's heart is through the gut. But I think man's heart and brain is through the gut. Everything is controlled.
Ayurveda only focused here.
Exactly.
It's just that.
Sanjeev, one question I always bothers me is, we as scientists always go after objective data. Like blood pressure is so much, temperature is so much. When you decide a meal is, a cooking is good, is it very subjective? How do you decide that this is a good preparation, this is a bad preparation? Is it an okay question?
No, it's a very good question. I think food is highly subjective. Who is it for?
Yes. Okay.
Who is it for? So it's not something. So my belief is any food that is there for business may not be very good for you.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
So cooking at home. So at restaurants, let me tell you, whenever we are cooking, it's blind cooking. We don't know who we are cooking for. When you're cooking at home, you know who you are cooking for. So the emotions that are there, that the way it is cooked, it has a lot of value in that. So it is highly subjective. Who is it for? What their gut and brain connection. What mood? If I ask now, oh, would you want to have pani puri? You will say, wow, let's have pani puri. But if I say instead of your morning tea or coffee, should I give you pani puri? You'll slap me, right? So when is it? Who is it? Very, very subjective.
So tell us, in an average day when you are home, what do you eat from morning till evening?
If I am at home.
Yes. He travels 190 days a year, I think you are in the aeroplanes.
So so normally when I wake up, I have a glass of plain water. I told you I'm lazy. My wife has warm water. I have plain water. Then I have a glass of water which previous night there's some neem leaves and a bay leaf has been soaked, crushed, and I strain it and I have.
Why do you have that?
Why I have that? So we talked about vegetables and vegetarian diet and things. So there are there's a lot of data on the phytonutrients that are there, and we may not even know what is there, but we understand if there are big pharma companies, if they are doing something, there's a lot of research that there. I say I go to the source, and I don't need extract. I'll go direct to the source, right? So I have that. Then before having morning cup of tea, I have one fruit and I change. Sometimes I have banana, sometimes I have apple, sometimes whatever fruit is there in season, whatever is easy, whatever is available at home, I have that. Then that's the time if I'm at home, my wife and I would have a cup of tea, which I have with, because my mom is lactose intolerant, so we only have lactose free milk with very little milk, and I have some nuts with it. So I have some almonds and walnuts pre-soaked. Why do I have that? I have a company which sells this. This is where it is called, how you have all the brands there. This is called brand integration. In our no, so I have that. I enjoy that because earlier for many years I used to have some biscuits and cookies. So I stopped all of that and have that. And then for breakfast, could be normal breakfast. Could be today. It was what was there for breakfast? I'm just thinking. What
You
did
can
I?
say anything.
No, no. But today was idli actually. So I'm just thinking. So that is there. So
South
something home
Is
style.
South Indian or North Indian? More of mixed. Like
more,
parathas,
more.
parathas
So
or-
there is no. We say it's more Indian. Let's put
More
it this
Indian.
way.
Okay.
So we don't divide our food into north south. We unite, not divide. So yes.
Yeah. So we
Whose house? Who cooks at house? Whose house? Three of us are there. Acha, my house. So maids. When I am not there at, when I am there, I cook.
So can you continue? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So lunch, what happens?
Yeah. So lunch is.
So this is only breakfast is Italy. No other, nothing else. Eggs.
No, it says
No,
different
no,
rotation.
no. Sometimes it could be eggs. Once a
Yeah,
week could
yeah.
be eggs. But as I told you, I am more vegetarian.
Okay.
That's
Then
what
lunch.
I eat. Then again, it's home style. Could be dal, some fresh vegetable that is there, chas. So yogurt is a part of meal, and roti would be a ragi roti mostly. Again, thanks to that's my mom. She was found to be gluten intolerant. So our house, we don't consume
Gluten.
Yeah. So that is there. And dinner also is, if I'm at home, it's similar construct is there. We stopped eating white rice in our house many years ago. We've only been eating whatever local
So millets,
rice.
you think millets are good? I mean, can you make millets very attractive to eat? Because if somebody gave me a choice between Hyderabad biryani versus some millet thing, I would go for Hyderabad biryani.
Oh, no. Go for millet biryani. I'll cook for you.
You know, okay.
We did this whole 1 year. We did one campaign on millets, and even G20 and everything. There was a lot of millets are actually very tasty, very
You can make
earthy
them.
taste.
Uh-huh.
No. See, it's just that if familiarity
Yeah.
is low,
No.
but let's say a well-cooked ragi roti.
Yeah.
Or ragi dosa. So dosa also that we have is the ragi dosa.
Yeah.
It's much tastier. The taste profile is there, but it's just that familiarity
Okay.
is not there.
What is the biological superiority of this, of ragi millets over others?
So in terms of what there is a reason why I consume more ragi is because of my childhood. Because as a child, we used to be given sometimes roti which looked something that you would not eat. It was a bad roti cooked by my mom, and she would say, and we would hate it, and she would say कि खा लो सीमेंट की रोटी है. And we didn't know कि रागी क्या होता है. We didn't know. So in north, especially in Uttarakhand and all, they call it mandua, right? So, but it was cement ki roti, and we used to hate it, and it was badly cooked. Then we realized कि इसको अच्छे से कैसे बनाना है. So I'm making up for all the fuss that I created in my childhood with my mom when she was giving me that ragi roti. Now I'm making up for that.
Tell us, when patients are to undergo surgery, we have a short time, say about 10, 12 days. What can we give to a vegetarian patient to improve the protein intake? According to Indian food, what do you recommend we can give in the Is the
So-
question relevant?
Yeah, of course. I think for vegetarians it's a question. I think in terms of we know all lentils and beans and everything, but importantly, the best that I always tell people, and this is we have plenty of it. We don't have to import it. Is Moong is the best protein which is digestible, and if you want to eat it, germinate it, sprout it, right? So because then it brings variety. In breakfast, whatever you're eating, add some sprouted moong to it. You want to make khichdi with it, with millets, add moong to it. So moong is something, and don't make it too runny, because the protein quantity that you need, and especially when you hear all your life 1 gram, and then comes the doctor says no, 1.5 grams average you have to do, then you need much more. I think one of the things which is underplayed in India, and I think vegetarians need to have a little bit more acceptability they need to bring to that, is on different mushrooms that are there. That is something which I want to talk more, because I think they don't like the mouthfeel of mushrooms. I think we can, if my top 2 choices would be moong and mushrooms.
But traditionally, mushrooms are not eaten much in India.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to. No, actually, it's eaten. It's just that vegetarians don't like the mouth feel of it. Same is the case with soy, right?
Yeah.
But soy has its own issues. High protein, good quality. But again, a lot of to get its most textured protein that you get. Again, it's processed and all of that. In terms of quality of protein, pea protein is also good, but have fresh.
Taste is an issue.
Taste is an issue. No, but again, because it is processed.
Yeah.
See, if young, so again, and this is something I think India has to learn more. We have to create more availability of that. All the dals that we eat, they're dried, right? Yeah. But they were green and fresh once. We don't eat them. So chana, green when it is, have more of it. Digestibility is very good, much better, and it is fresh. Again, there are many other than proteins, much better. So in parts like the Gujarat and all, there is green tuar that is there. Undio is made with that, but not all across India. We have this. We don't inculcate where we ask for green lentils and beans. So lentils, beans, all beans we have to increase more. Great protein. So, but fresher, seasonal.
Nagi, you have some knowledge of brain foods.
Yeah.
I think you've been taking them. I've seen you getting more intelligent over a couple of months or years.
What happens to hair with that?
It goes off.
That was my next question to you. Do you have any plant-based advice for people who are losing hair? But that's a second question.
Yes.
Maybe
But affects your brain, so it's not good. It's better to have a brain than hair.
No. But there is a lot of concept of brain foods. So what is your concept?
I think the concept is that some of the food that we eat is converted by the gut microbiome into compounds like serotonin, GABA, tryptophan, and endorphins. There's very clear evidence. For example, almonds. Almond is converted by gut microbiome into the serotonin, high amount of serotonin. So these are so-called brain foods. So if you take these, once they get converted, these chemicals get into the brain. And butyrate another thing. So they are in oligosaccharides, they contain. So if you take this particular food, then you definitely feel a little better. And this is very obvious when you're eating this versus a heavy meal, which is containing your carbohydrates and oil. You feel much better afterwards in terms of attentiveness and all that. This is very obvious. So these are the so-called brain foods, and there's a list of them. But the problem, of course, is it will depend upon your status of microbiome. It's not that these foods directly go to the brain. They have to be converted into chemicals to get into the brain.
So in view of all this knowledge, are you giving some more recommendations to your patients on food?
Yes.
Have you changed your recommendation?
I have changed it. When I counsel my patients, I talk a lot about these types of food. And I think for the audience, there are 2 important books that you should read where food is incorporated. One is Lifespan by David Sinclair.
Very good.
And another is Outlive by Peter. These are the 2 very, very good books that are going to change your lifestyles, how you're going to eat.
Ever since I developed a heightened sensitivity mainly to protein intake last 5-6 years, I remain the same surgeon. My results are a shade better.
Better?
Better.
But they're always very good. You can't make them better then.
So some people go home now. So, so I mean, recovery of better. I think protein intake in a short period of time, we as doctors believe only our stitches work, we work. That's not true. From a level to go above, you need to have extra things. And one of the things is nutrition and exercise combined together. They do a great way in helping patients. And it's a part of our duty to tell patients what to eat and what not.
So Sanjeev, changing track a little, in West days, whenever you have dinners in the conferences there, they have this huge fanfare on wine pairing. You're supposed to drink white wine with fish, red wine with meat and so on. With Indian foods, you have this wine pairing, but I'm sure you must be having banquets where you had to do this.
Yeah, that's the rules remain the same. So it's actually in French when we were getting trained, it is white wine with white meats, red wine with red meats. So it was as simple as that. So it's you start from light to heavy. So whites are traditionally light, reds are heavy. So you start with white, end with red.
Yeah.
That's how it, and in between you can have a rosé. And you end with the heaviest, which are dessert wines.
Oh, yeah.
So they are the heaviest. So that's the progression. But generally I say, if you want to have wine, don't have too much. 1, 2, have what you like. Don't go with this that, oh, वैसे ही समझ नहीं आने वाला, एक जिंदगी निकल जानी है. तो जो अच्छा लगता है वो पी लो, ज्यादा मत दिमाग लगाओ इसके अंदर. Don't over intellectualize.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, because people keep saying you get antioxidants and so on. It has been shown that to get sufficient antioxidants, you drink 5 liters of wine a day, which means your liver.
That's so true. See, the resveratrol,
resveratrol,
500 mg to get that out of it's not easy. I can,
do you think garlic is overrated?
No, I don't think garlic is overrated.
Very useful.
Yeah, I think it's very useful, and not just as so. I think important thing we talk as doctors as prebiotic and probiotics. I think body does not look at pre and pro. Body looks at symbiotic. And I think garlic is one, garlic and onion as a category. This is what is symbiotic according to me. This is what of course, there's a lot of work that has been done on both allium sativa and garlic. Both, I think, brilliant on taste. So according to me, without getting into detail, no, it's still underrated according to me by the world.
Okay. If you have a choice and you are to open a restaurant and you have everything, what will you want in your restaurant to be the best restaurant in the world?
If there was a restaurant that I was to open, and what would I want there?
Food-wise, I think.
So I would want food-wise.
Food-wise.
Otherwise, I was just going to say this, that I would want restaurant people should come.
No.
Just swipe their card and go, and that's it.
So
मैं wish list करनी है तो ऐसे करो.
The location is mine, the paintings are mine, the food is yours.
अच्छा, food is. So food is not, chefs are like tailors. We don't cook for ourselves. So it is, who is it for? We cook for people.
Wow.
So it has to be where is it, what kind of people are coming there, and what do they want. So it has to be customized for what they want, what their need is. It is, and we should be able to understand the need. So whenever I invite people at home, I always message them, tell me what you like to eat, what you don't like to eat, what your allergies are. Because if you don't tell me, it's a shot in the dark. You may be kind and you may tell me that, oh, it was very good. But that's not what I want to achieve.
Now I know what success. This is smartness.
And then what about
Sanjeev,
why in India you don't have Michelin stars? I'm sure you would have had 4 or 5 Michelin stars, but Indian restaurants don't have. Why is it that?
No. India
Yeah.
as a country
Yeah.
does not have Michelin star.
Why is
They are
that?
not okay. So they are not in many. It is not in countries. First, it is in cities.
Huh.
So Japan, not all cities have Michelin star. US, not. So this year, next year, Florida as a state would start Michelin star, right? Last year, Dubai's.
No, it's the chefs you're getting or the restaurant?
No, restaurant.
Yeah.
It's always the restaurant, not the chefs. Restaurant gets the Michelin star, and it is for that location. Was started by a Michelin tire company,
Yeah.
and 1889 they started that. Michelin tire company actually went out of India, was kicked out of India a few years ago. So for them, actually now they're back. But it will take some time because now they expect money from a country or a city. So normally tourism boards, so last I know that Thailand paid them millions of dollars to come into their country. So it will take some time. It's not just that it will happen just like that. They want to come in, they would lobby, because it's business, it's big business.
Yeah.
So it's not that why they are. Currently, I can tell you next 3-4 years, Michelin would not be here.
And we are not missing anything by not
Oh,
having.
no, you are not missing anything. You have fantastic restaurants anywhere. And better than that, home food is the best food that is there. And the message, because there are more men here, please start cooking at home. Not, yeah.
That is a
Please
question.
start cooking.
Short question. Yeah, questions. Before we close, some few questions from the audience. Yeah.
I want to know about the caffeine. How much do we require? Caffeine.
You don't require any caffeine.
And what about the green tea concept? Means antioxidants and green tea. These are
Green
being
tea.
It's like same like what we talked about red wine.
Yeah.
You need a lot of it. You need a lot of it to have the antioxidant. So actually, the phytonutrients that we talked about. So most greens, that's why I said fresh in season greens. You'll be amazed. See, when we isolate something, we may think that we are doing a lot. So it's like turmeric today, right?
Yeah.
We have data on curcumin, probably the most studied plant on earth as of today, right? So it's something that we know about curcumin, and you may say, okay, with piperine it works, and you would have a lot of data, but there are many other things that we may not know. It's like trillions of different bacteria that are there, and it may take thousands and hundreds of thousands of doctors of repute to know maybe just a fraction of bacteria what are there in our gut, and we may not know them. So in plants and foods, we may not know. So wholesome diet, clean diet is the best answer, right? So don't go by just in isolation. For medicine, yeah, please work on molecules, do all of that. But as diet, keep it simple, keep it fresh, keep it local, keep it seasonal.
Two more questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
One question I would like to just ask from Mr. Sanjeev Kapoor. What is your say on, do you personally believe on this concept of tamasic and sattvic food?
100%. I definitely believe in sattvic, and it is not about food. It is way of life. Yeah. It's not, you cannot say this food is sattvic. It is a person. How you cook, how you eat. So first the person has to be right. So food can be sattvic, but you are tamasic. Food will become tamasic.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
we have heard a lot about what to eat, what not to eat, and now tamasic and also in the night we should eat earlier. But also how much to eat, when to eat, what are our thoughts at the time, emotions at the time of eating. These are all very relevant. But on the other hand, we are so much driven by the food item per se. I think we are biased in favor of certain foods, whereas what we are thinking, who has cooked, you have rightly highlighted, how much amount we are eating, how much chewing person we are doing, how much burden we are giving to the stomach. All factors are important, and all are in our Indian culture. Things are there. We need to revive those.
That's a
Last
comment.
question.
Last.
Last.
Okay, my question is, how much we should cook for certain items? For example, in India, if we cook for non-veg, it will take around 1 hour or so. So whereas in abroad, if you go, you will get the same. You give the fish, they will give it in 5 minutes. So how does it different? What is exactly which is the good thing?
Okay, so you have to understand India as a country. That why were we cooking everything so much? So there are pathogens that are there. We have to kill them, and we know how long they take to kill. When I was a child, when we got refrigerator, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
We didn't even have refrigerator. So back then, it made lot of sense to cook and overcook. Hot tropical country. So you had to cook for a long period of time. Now it may not be needed, but those are traditions that have been built over a period of time. So there is, I would say that few things you cannot eat kacha or should not. Dal kachi nahi kha sakte ho, right? But fish, can you digest with little bit of acid on that? Yes, you can. It's the kind of protein that what body can work on. How he's talked about, it's not just do we chew our food? So digestion starts from mouth, right?
Yeah.
And we know that we have to chew our food well because our stomach has no teeth, right? But we don't do that. So how much work is done? Not everything. I think there is merit in re-looking at some of the foods. We should not cook that much now. So there is merit, but yeah, this session we cannot close this. But you are right. We
I
should
said
not
the last
overcook.
question, otherwise we'll miss our
Yeah.
dinner.
Regarding microwave oven cooking.
Yes.
It's very bad, I think. What's your opinions?
But you have your opinion, so you live with
No,
it.
no,
I have all of us are
Done. Fantastic. That's all.
okay. So that's I think anything. So let me tell you how microwave ovens work. What is microwave energy? Microwave energy works on water particles. It agitates them, and through that agitation, friction, heat is there. So agitation is converting into heat. Sometimes heat is through conduction, sometimes through agitation. गर्मी लगती है ना, ऐसे करते हैं. So same is microwave. Now, good, bad, ugly, there is not enough data, but there is enough data. The mobile phone that you are using it also works on microwave energy, right? So कान के पास में लगा के रखते हैं ना, दिमाग में माइक्रोवेव जो कुक कर रहा है, that is probably worse than microwave cooking in microwave oven.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we should stop. Unless it's-
Just one question.
Okay.
So, the doctor, fatty liver is happening a lot these days. So, what is the reason for that? And second thing, for vegetarians, what is the substitute that we could take for B12? Because more often than not, vegetarians have this deficiency.
Yeah, so the first part, I think this is again a whole new topic. We'll take a whole
Yeah.
evening. Fatty liver is very common. Part of it is because of, I think, the nutrition that we're eating. Excess calories get converted into fat in the liver. Lack of exercise that is present. And again, gut microbiome, which is producing local substances like alcohol, which goes into the liver and produce. Now there's a lot of data for that. So all these factors together. So again, what we discussed, the proper nutrition, exercise, and I think your healthy microbiome will see that it's not there.
Yeah, I think sleep, less stress.
Yeah.
I think we do not pay enough heed to it.
Yeah.
So even short naps can work wonders.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think we should. And,
and
because
some
a lot
people
of
are maybe
questions-
doing that today also. Very good.
So we are a lot of questions coming in, but I think we'll end here because the session has actually gone on. And Sanjeev, Adarsh and me on behalf of the IASG Con, the Surgical Society Gastroenterology of India, would like to thank you for this fantastic session. I think we had a very easy conversation on several things, but very many good points that we
Yeah,
gained.
we learned
Very
so much from
learning
No.
exercise
So
for us.
my part was easy conversation. Good part was their conversation. So thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
Thank you.
enlightening us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vinmit. I hope we can get you back again sometime. Thank you.
There's a
Sure. Want to hold that?
One side. दोनों पासे पा लेने.
Good job. Thank you very much. Thank you for this. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. क्या बात है. Thank you.
So this is very special. This is Vaikuntham,
Oh,
most famous paint. I
yeah.
know. So this is from the TV now.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
We'll carry it for you. Just give. Can
No,
you
so I
carry
want to
it
know
out
these are
there?
prints or paintings? These are prints or
The
paintings?
prince.
Okay. मैं कहा वैकुंठम पेंटिंग दे रहे हैं तो मैं और ज्यादा थैंक यू और दो तीन बार आऊंगा मैं. ये पूछना जरूरी है.
They want a photo. They want a photo.
Thank you.
No, we'll get
no.
a good
Yeah.
painting for you next time because Vaikuntham is with us. Yeah.
Ready. Thank
No,
you.
I'm an art collector. That's why I'm asking.
Pleasure.
So,
Pleasure. Mata aa gaya.
Thank you. That was fantastic.